Hey guys, what's up? It's WildChild32 here today, and I'm going to be showing you how to make polymer clay Pocky sticks, and they're quite easy, but a little messy, and as you can see here, these are like just some little pictures of things holding Pocky. So yeah, so let's get started. So the things you'll need are some Ecru clay, and I'm just using this Primo clay, and I try to get it to focus on the name, but it didn't work out. But yeah, so that is the clay I'm using for this, and then you are also going to be needing kind of like a needle-ish tool, but it's not a needle, you could say. And this is actually a double-sided tool, and I got it in my studio kit. The next thing you'll need is an X-Acto knife or some type of blade. I just got this one and it's by Fiskars, and I got it at Joann's craft store. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure you could find it different places. And then you're also going to need some TLS or translucent liquid sculpey, as well as a brown chalk pastel. And a note card is optional. I usually use them to work on with TLS. So you're going to take about kind of a chunk of clay, and you're just going to want to condition it in your hands, and mine was a little crumbly, so if you have clay softener you can use that, or you could just use whatever you want, but I'm just conditioning it with my hands. And yeah, so I accidentally tore it apart, and it probably wasn't the best idea, but you're just going to keep conditioning it until it's soft or easier for you to work with. And I just fast forward this process up. All I'm doing really is rolling it out and stuff. And as you can see, my clay is pretty dirty, but that will not affect the design. So once you have rolled it out into a nice long log, you want it to be pretty long so you can find the best area to cut, and just make sure that you don't have any like other clay in it, and I'll show you how to get that out in a second, but first you want to make sure that you round the top that of the end that you're going to use. And I accidentally cut mine slanted, and I ended up fixing it. But yeah, actually I didn't show you how to do it, but if you have any excess clay from like other colors or anything like that, just take a blade and scrape that out. So now you're going to take your TLS and your note card and just squirt some of that out. You're not going to need a lot, but you're going to need quite a bit. I just used that much. And then you're just going to take your brown chalk pastel and you're going to shave it off. And I actually ended up using various shades of some dark browns. I used a dark brown, a light brown, a normal brown, and then I mix it all up. And you can use a plastic tool, but I used my metal needle tool because that was easier to clean. So as you can see, I'm just mixing it here, and I actually had to find it, so that's why it took a while for the needle tool to come into the screen. Yeah, so you're just going to want to mix this up, and I sped this process up because who wants to see a girl mixing up TLS, you know? So I stirred it up, and as you can see, it looks kind of grainy. You can see that there's bits of chalk pastels not mixed in, but that's fine. That happens every time. If you don't like that, you can try and mix it more. So yeah. So I don't know if I said it or not, but we are going to be making the frosting, and I wanted mine a little darker, so I just put in some more brown chalk pastel and mix that up to make it a little darker, and it actually worked. So I really liked how the frosting color turned out. So then you're going to take kind of a large brush, not too big though, and you're going to take a brush, and you're going to want to use a brush that you'll dedicate to clay using, and probably, hopefully not going to use it for another project, unless you clean it really well. So I'm just painting on the TLS mixture onto our Pocky that has not had any icing on it yet, and this is a very messy process, for me at least. I don't know about you, but this was kind of messy, and I only sped up some parts of this so you guys could see exactly what I was doing. I tried rolling it around and doing different things. You just want to be careful, and yeah. So I'm just like slowly putting it on to, make sure I get places. Uh, Again, this is quite a messy process. You probably will get some TLS on your hands. And then you can also try to roll it over if you want. You can let it sit. I did not let it sit. So yeah. So I attempted to roll it over and then roll it back in its own substance, and that kind of worked, and it also kind of didn't. So, I was dragging it and trying to get, another side. But you guys can try any different methods that you like. So if you find any good methods to do this, comment them down below so other people can read your comments and figure out how to do it correctly, or in a better way. So I ended up picking it up and just taking my brush and painting directly on it while it was dangling. That was a little easy. It was kind of easier, but it is a little messy. So after that process, I just put it in my hand and touched it up, and this is how it looks. And you just want to going to continue to touch it up until you are happy with how it turns out. And as you can see, I'm kind of running out of TLS, but I didn't make any more because it was the perfect amount for me. So then you're going to take that plastic tool or needle-like tool that we used, and you are going to make little indents on the Pocky that represent kind of like the baked lines, I guess. I don't know why they're there, but they are part of it. So I wanted to make them, and all you're gonna do is like basically just scratch the clay, and I kind of sped up this process because it was pretty self-explanatory. Um, but yeah, so all you're gonna do is like just scratch the surface, and I actually ended up getting a little frosting on the end of mine, so yeah. So then you're just going to want to finish that up, and then you're gonna, so this is what it looks like before baking, and you're just going to bake it to your package instructions, or for 275 degrees Fahrenheit for a half hour, or 15 minutes to a half hour. I usually do that, and that is off the Sculpey souffle packages, and that's a pretty good baking time. You can adjust it to your liking or however you would want to do it. And this is the finished product after it has been baked. It does seem to have like a plastic bottom to it, almost. I don't know if that's from the TLS, but if you want to get that off, you can try and use a blade. So yeah, it's pretty bendable. I expected it to be a little harder, but it worked, so it turned out good. And so if you do want to get those like weird plastic thingies off, you can always scrape it off, but the only downside is it does scrape the clay off, but I only did it a little bit because of what happened, and as you can see, there's like a weird shape of just plain Ecru clay that is not shaded really, but it's not super visible, but you guys can see it. So if you want to do that, you can, and just continue to do that if you would like to continue in this process. And you can also rub your blade against the bare end that hopefully doesn't have any frosting on it, and to just clean it. But it didn't happen for me, but you can do that, but it may or may not take the indents away or make them deeper. I don't know. So yeah. So now it's time to glaze, and I'm just using the Sculpey gloss glaze. You can use any other glaze that you would like, such as I don't know how to say it, but I know a lot of people use it. It's I don't know how to say it, but I know Pudding Fish Cakes uses it, and you can also use triple thick glaze. You could use Mod Podge, but I don't really recommend it because sometimes the pieces get sticky. So I'm just glazing it, and as you can see, I showed you a brush, and you want to have it thinner than the one you used for TLS. So you're just going to take some of that and just paint it on. And if you want, you can just glaze the frosting, or you can glaze the whole thing. I was just going to glaze the frosting, but then I accidentally went down all the way, so I just glazed the whole thing. So this is the finished product, and I really hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on CraftyMino and Google+. Thanks for watching. Bye!